First of all, thank y'all for coming out today. I don't think we could have dialed up a whole lot of better weather for everybody to come out and enjoy what is going to be kind of a landmark day, in my opinion, of what's going to come to be known as one of the greatest all-star games, not only in the country, but really the genesis behind it being started right here in South Carolina, to me, is going to be unparalleled to any others, simply because the names that are going to be associated with this game are names that are synonymous with greatness, not only in this state, but also in football in general. So I got to tell you, I am so happy to be a part of this. David Wyatt and his staff have done such a tremendous job of not only just putting this together, but also doing the due diligence that it takes to understanding what it takes to create something that matters. And today is going to embark on a day that is going to matter for a long time to come. And the South Carolina College All-Star Game, the fact that you're going to have the best and the brightest, not only in the classroom, but also on the football field, that get to play in an all-star game right here in the Palmetto State, to me is going to be just something that we're are going to be able to cherish for a long time to come. So on behalf of Todd Ellis and myself, I cannot wait to get in the broadcast booth in March and talk about this ball game. I'm genuinely giddy about it. I am. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Part of putting a team together like this is that you have to go out there and survey the landscape and go, all right, who are the people that can truly make this a memorable day and a special moment? And the gentleman that I'm going to bring up here that's going to really direct this whole ship, he's going to be the captain of this entire process, is a guy that really doesn't need somebody like me to come up here and babble about him. He doesn't need anybody to really read his accolades. You know him as a Hall of Fame coach. You know him as the guy that won more ball games than you could ever list on a resume. You know him as a guy that not only did it on the college level, but the pro level, and has created more wins, but also a gentleman that has created a reputation of winning. And I think that's what's cool about this game, in conjunction with what Coach Weich is doing, is the fact that Sam Weich has done this for so long, and he's done it the right way. And I feel like that the fact that they've created a basis behind this all-star game to do it the right way, create something that's going to be special for not only our local communities, but for the entire Palmetto State. And so without further ado, let me introduce to you the commissioner of this all-star game, one Mr. Coach Sam Weich.
With you, I thought he was talking about somebody else. That wasn't me. But thanks for being here. This, I will tell you, when I first got into pro football with the Cincinnati Bengals, I was one of the original Cincinnati Bengals in 1968. I had been at the University of South Carolina working on my MBA degree, and I was a grunt as a grad assistant for a young defensive backfield coach named Lou Holtz. And Lou made the phone call that got me my opportunity to be a free agent with the Bengals, and ended up making the team and later coaching. And that is what, that opportunity was special to me. This game is going to give an opportunity to a lot of players to get one more look a month prior to the NFL draft in March. On March the 23rd, 2013, at 3 o'clock, North Greenville University, Yachts Stadium, we'll play the game. And let me just tell you, I was around when the Senior Bowl started in Mobile, Alabama, which is now kind of the NFL convention for the week. It started out just like this. It was mostly Alabama and Auburn playing, and then a few guys from some other schools. But it became a big deal because it was a chance to see the players compete against each other. Being a week prior to the draft, it's more important because you get a lot of players that are rehabbing at the end of the season. They're not able to perform. They're not, they're finishing a long year. And this gives them a chance to be fresh and to check them out right before the draft. Okay, with that said, let me tell you that we're going to have over 100 athletes that will be invited to play in the South Carolina College All-Star Bowl. There will be seniors from South Carolina. Their offers will go out in December. If they happen to be a junior playing and become eligible for the NFL draft, those offers will come out in January to invite them to play in the bowl game. The only requirement we have is that you played high school ball in South Carolina or you played college ball in South Carolina. So you may have played at Riverside High School but went to the University of Michigan. You're still eligible. Or if you lived in Atlanta and came and went to Furman, you'd be eligible. So that's the criteria. And the watch list has already been started. We've already got a good start on it. We will have coaches and scouts from the Canadian Football League, the National Football League, Arena Football League here with a pro timing day during the week as we go. It'll be televised live on WMYA 40 in the Upstate. Todd Ellis, Will Merritt doing the commentary for us. And now I'd like to introduce the two head coaches for the first game of the college. You guys are going to go down in history. You were going to go down before. First, let me tell you, this will be the Upstate against the Low Country will be the dividing line for the game. And the Low Country is going to be coached by the legendary coach, legendary meaning you're quite old, Willie Jeffries, who compiled 179 wins as a head coach in his career, 19 years at his alma mater, South Carolina State, 5 years at Wichita State University, 5 years at Howard University. He's the winningest coach with 107 in the 107-year history of South Carolina State University, and he also is the owner of the MEAC victories more than any other coach. Coach Jeffries was the first African-American head coach in 1A football. I didn't know that about you, Coach. You're a pioneer in a lot of ways, not just here today. He's in the College Hall of Fame. In 2010, he was inducted. Coach Willie Jeffries, coach of the I'm going to tell you that we have not.
More beauty, man.
We have not. You can see that there's going to be a lot of chirping going on. We have not spent a lot of time going through the details. So, in a general way, we're asking the coach just to introduce himself.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much. Welcome to everyone. I was a little bit late. One of Buddy Pugh's big tackles was copying off another boy's paper, and I'm Coach Emeritus. I thought it was Coach Emeritus, but they said that's Emeritus. So I go by, and we had to rush up here, and the way they caught the guy, I asked the professor to prove it, and the professor said, yes, Coach, I had 50 questions, 2 for each correct answer. The smart young man made 98. I said, well, what happened? He said, well, your big tackle was sitting alongside the smart young man. Smart young man wrote for number 10, I don't know. And Big John wrote, I don't either. So. But anyway, if you copy one person's work, that's plagiarism. Copy off of 10 or 12, that's research. But what a pleasure it is for us, for me and a good friend to get back onto the gridiron. This is just absolutely wonderful. Danny, I'll bring the liniment and you bring the towels so we can loosen up after each practice. You know, there are going to be some great players in this game. There will not be a loser in this football game. Both the Low Country and the Upper State will be winners because it's a great affair. All the boys can read, write, draw, and trace. All of yours can read, write, draw, and trace. Okay, good. But for us to get back on the gridiron and the caliber of players we'll bring to the Greenville area, everyone will enjoy it, and we're just elated and happy to be here. And I think a lot of these players, some played against each other in high school, some played against each other in college. Be a lot of camaraderie there. Yes, we do want to win, but I think both sides will be winners. And is it time for questions, or you want me?
No, sir. There will be time for questions.
Okay, thank you all very much. I am so happy to be here. and thanks very much.
Coach of the Upcountry is Danny Ford, former Clemson coach. Played his football at Alabama. Was a head coach at Clemson from 78 to 89, and then at the University of Arkansas from 93 to 97. 122 career wins, 12 seasons as a head coach at Clemson, 5 Atlantic Coast Conference titles, 6 bowl wins, and a national championship team in 1981. And Coach, we're glad to have you here as the Upcountry, and we hope you can top that last performance.
I can tell you, I'm honored to be here, of course, and I've always wanted to try to get back in coaching, but I didn't know you had to pay to get back in coaching like you do with this guy. I bought my way in it, so I had to pay Sam to let me coach, and I appreciate that very much. And David, for what you got going on and starting this thing. You know, I was not from the state of South Carolina. I was from Alabama, and the state of Alabama is a large football state. It's football so important if you play in football in Alabama. And South Carolina is the same way. Football is very important in this state. You can look at all the universities and the colleges in the state and see the amount of alumni that go and support the schools and the quality of players that we have and the quality of coaches that we have. We have 2 teams right now in the top 15 in the country. It looks like at the end of the year, both of them keep doing what they're supposed to do. They're going to have some good national exposure at the end of the year. Newberry, Presbyterian, South Carolina State, Citadel. Citadel had that big homecoming game. We look forward to getting a lot of kids from all these places. So I think it's going to be a wonderful experience, along with Coach Jefferson, as he talked about, and Sam and David for making up this idea. I played in the blue-gray game a long time ago in Alabama, and it was a real neat experience. We stayed for a week, and they got to meet people. I remember I played against a kid from UCLA and enjoyed playing against him. That's the first time we ever played against people from out of the area. But like Coach Jefferson said, there'll be a lot of kids that know each other, but they will have one more chance to play their last game, which is important. They will either be finishing their career in the state of South Carolina, or they'll have an opportunity to show out and get somebody to see them be a future pro player by going through this game. So that's what's important about it. The only thing I dislike about it so far is that I've never had to coach against Coach Jeffers. And he said there will be no losers, and he's correct. But I'll assure you, the next day they'll say somebody lost. And I'm going to beat his eyes out. I can't wait to get a hold of him. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I got a feeling he and I are going to spend, like Coach Howard and all the other people used to do, he and I are going to spend a lot of time telling jokes and talking, and there's going to be a bunch of other people out there coaching hard, because we're going to have some fun. Got to have a good crowd. You got to learn to crawl before you walk. Got to walk before you run. And this thing could take off in a big way in the future. So we hope you support it and do well with us. Thank you.
We will have, under their supervision, mentors, coaches that have played in the National Football League, guys like George Rogers, Patrick Sapp, and others that will be coaching the players. Now, the game is going to be mano-mano. It's not going to be a game decided by strategy, although you have 2 people that are already thinking up ways to get around that rule. But there will be limited, we'll limit the number of the kinds of plays, the defenses, and so forth, so we can see the players perform and compete against each other. Also, we'd like to announce that on that Saturday, we will induct the first group to go into the South Carolina College Football Hall of Fame. And we have a South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame. Our first class will be inducted on that Saturday during the ball game. Okay, now I'm going to open this up for Q&A. Patrick, did you want to say anything? Yes. You know, really kind of pithy? I don't know. I don't even know what pithy means.
Well, I don't have any prepared notes, and it's hard to follow these guys. But I just want to say I'm thankful for the opportunity to come out and coach with these legendary coaches. And coming through playing at Clemson, growing up in Florida, I think this is a great opportunity for a lot of us ex-pro guys to get out there and get a chance to kind of showcase our talents as coaches. A lot of us want to get into the profession, but we kind of have to go a different route because a lot of us play football after college, so coaching comes later for us. But I think this is a great opportunity for players, but also for us, and I think this is a unique game in the way that you will have a roster of coaches that have all played, 10, 12, some 15 years in the NFL, coaching kids that are trying to get to the NFL. So I think it'll be a great experience for them, and I also think it'll be a great experience for these ex-NFL guys coming out to coach. Just to put a couple of names out there right now, we have Marco Coleman committed to coaching in the game. Brian Dawkins is going to coach, myself, James Trapp, Woody Dantzler, and Sam Cowell. So a lot of these guys have coached, played at other schools, Georgia Tech and Florida State, but they was chomping at the bit of this opportunity to come out here and give something back to these kids. So it's going to be a great week of work, and I'm looking forward to it. I heard it's tough kind of coaching under Danny Ford, so I don't know. I'm going to have to jump on Willie's side or something.
I think we've covered the bases here, but I'd like to have a few minutes if you need it. Okay, if there are any questions for either the coaches, myself, yes, sir.
I got a question. Sounds like a great idea. Did y'all think of this yourself, or is it done somewhere else in the country?
If I could just postpone that till after the game, if it turns out well, it was my idea. Actually, David Wyatt, I think, initiated it. Did you, David, or did you steal this from somebody? Huh?
It's obviously it's done at the Senior Bowl. We have experience down there. But being a South Carolina native, South Carolina puts probably more people in the pros than just about any other state in the country. So it made sense. Coach Banner and I talked about this. It made sense for us to do it here. And obviously, he was slick enough to get you suckers in to help us out. So
there are a lot of pro players that come out of South Carolina. For a state our size, we by far lead the country in the number of players that make it into professional football.
Talk about how South Carolina really earned this right to do it. It's not just didn't happen.
Well, I think you earned that right by producing a lot of good football players, which starts at the youth leagues to the junior highs to the high school training they get, and then they playing in either in college here or getting a chance to play maybe at Tennessee or Alabama or some other school. But their basics, the fundamentals started right here in South Carolina, and there's so many of them that have been successful. I think South Carolina's earned this spot. And let me just say a couple of things that I really believe will make a difference, because I have been in professional football for a long time. This is what they look for. They're looking to be able to see a player that played in one division or one conference play against another guy to see how they match up. Seeing them a month before the draft is far better than in the cold of January in Mobile, Alabama at the Senior Bowl. This will be springtime in South Carolina, and from an economic standpoint, over time, this is going to bring a lot of money into the state as this becomes what I think will happen. This will become the convention for the National Football League scouts and coaches, and we'll compete, if not steal it away from Mobile. Okay, are there any other questions?
I got one.
Yes, sir.
You say it's an upstate against the low country. Where does South Carolina fall in that? They're kind of in the middle.
My team goes all the way to South Carolina State. He's got the lowest country.
I got from Columbia down.
As you can tell, there'll be a few conference calls on that one. What we're going to try to do is have an even match. It's going to be a game that's decided in the fourth quarter if we can put the right combination.
Coach, can you talk about the charity aspect of this with Meals on Wheels?
The proceeds that come from this is going to Meals on Wheels of South Carolina, this year, the Pickens County, we've got Meta Bowers, who's the executive director of Meals on Wheels, is kind of the lead dog on this, and will get the benefits of this ball game. But Meals on Wheels, if you're not familiar with it, serves shut-ins that can't get out and get a warm meal, and it also allows somebody to knock on their door in the middle of the day and make sure they're okay, they haven't fallen, or there's not an emergency in the house that they need help on. So it is a tremendous organization. Obviously, they're like all charities, they need help, and we hope that this will benefit them in a big way. Over time, it'll get bigger, of course. This year, we are expecting it to be a big success, and that'll just lead to bigger things. All right, anything else? Thank you so much for being here. March 23rd, 3 o'clock, Gons Stadium, North Greenville University. Willie Jeffries against Danny Ford, halftime wrestling. Did we mention that? We forgot to mention that. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in March.
Well, we're here at the press conference for the South Carolina All-Star Game, and I got to tell you, I think this is going to be a landmark day, not only for the state of South Carolina, but also for football fans in general throughout the Palmetto State, simply because folks that get to watch these high school gladiators on Friday night and then go on to play sometimes inside the Palmetto State, sometimes outside the Sandlapper State, they still want to know what they're doing and what their chances are of the next level. And with having Coach Sam Weich and obviously Danny Ford and Willie Jeffries involved, this is going to be one of those days that people are going to look at, and I think they're going to be envious if they're not there, simply because you're going to see the best that South Carolina has to offer for the next Sunday football players. So I'm excited to call it. I'm excited to be a part of it. This is going to be a really fun day for not only the state of South Carolina, but really, like I said, just football fans in general get to come out to North Greenville on May 23rd and have a great time.
First of all, I think it's a great idea. It's going to be a great football game. And there'll be no losers. They keep laughing about that, but somebody will say the Upstate lost or the Lower State lost the game, but they'll all be winners. It'll be a great chance for these players to play their last game a little over a month from the draft. The pro scouts always want one more look. They want one more look at so-and-so. And since they only draft for 7 rounds now, it's going to be tough. But we're trying to help these ball players. A lot of work we'll do will be basic. We'll run offenses and defenses where the player will have to show his pure athletic ability, not any tricks and blitzes and all of that. It'll be a great chance for the pro scouts to actually evaluate the athlete, and that's going to be important. Plus bringing in people into Greenville, and how great a South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. Now we have the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame in Columbia, but this is great to initiate a South Carolina Football Hall of Fame induction here in Greenville. So it's going to be a lot of great events that I'm sure we'll enjoy.
I feel really good about being a part of this game. I think it's going to add a lot to the state, but I think it's going to showcase a lot of the talent that the country might not see that South Carolina has to offer. I mean, a lot of kids leave here and go on to other universities and play, but a lot stay in the state. We know about those kids, but a lot of the kids that are at LSU and other schools get an opportunity to come back and play in front of a home crowd. I think it's going to be exciting. With Danny Ford and Willie Jeffries being the 2 head coaches, with all the history that those guys have brought to the game of college football, I think you're going to see a great competitive game and also some great, tutelage from coaches like that they're going to be able to offer these young guys that are hoping to be NFL players one day. But all these kids won't make it, but I think through this process of the week of being a part of this All-Star game, they're going to get a lot of life lessons, but also build a lot of relationships with guys that they might not have known, but also get the chance to know a lot of the NFL guys that play that's going to coach these kids. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a huge success.
I am so excited about this All-Star game. I was around when the Senior Bowl started down in Mobile, And the difference will be Mobile in late January, early February, or South Carolina in the spring, just prior to the Masters down in Augusta. And I can see a lot of professional teams wanting to see players right before the draft. I know I always did. Get one last impression, make sure that their injury they had in college is all healed up, all those kind of things. Make sure their weight's under control. And then, of course, on draft day, it will either help them or hurt them depending on how they've taken care of themselves. But it's one more showcase for kids in South Carolina, whether they play college or high school, to show off before the NFL draft. All these kids will be NFL draftable, eligible, and they will have had their careers in college completed.
Yeah, very excited about the press conference here for the inaugural South Carolina College All-Star Bowl. Thought Will Merritt did a great job of setting the tone, really talking about the historic nature of this event, talking about how Sam White, the commissioner, I mean, to get a gentleman with his background in football, not only having played the game, coached the game, he's been a on-air broadcaster, he's basically a legend, and to have him as the commissioner for the game was great, and he did a great job, obviously, of helping get Coach Ford and Jeffries, who it's my first opportunity to get to see Coach Jeffries, and very impressed with Coach Jeffries. His reputation, well earned, obviously, and both he and Danny, what a great camaraderie that they have, and really the impetus for this event is to help South Carolina young people, be a platform for them to showcase their talents, not just to go to the pros. Obviously, hopefully, we'll have some great talent come through here and have a storied career in football, but also in life. This is something that will undoubtedly have the impact on young people, hopefully a positive impact where we can help make a difference in their lives, and then they make a difference in others. And so really excited about the opportunity to showcase South Carolina in a very positive light. And North Greenville has been incredible, having folks that have expertise in photography and production, an incredible venue in God's country for us to host this event. So it's just been a blessing. I'm excited.